Hi there, people of the world, and welcome to my YouTube channel. See that guy right there? That's me. I'm Miguel. For all intents and purposes, I go by Michael David as a pen name. And I'm making this video to tell you about this real cool book I just published. Well, sorta. See, if you've ever been a new author before, you'll realize that it's sorta next to impossible to try to get published without any sort of recommendation or agent. And if you haven't heard of Kindle before, well, just take a look at the screen. It's where you can buy all of Amazon's ebooks from big authors to new authors on a whim. So, that being said, that's where I sell my ebook, on Kindle. The name of it is Turbocharged. Real creative, I know. To give you a quick summary of what my book is about, imagine the Fast and Furious, but in book form. And actually pandering to real car enthusiasts, like you and me. None of that, McLaren P1s, Koenigseggeras, Pagani Huayras, Ferrari driving douchebags, or the like. And we can skip the rice rockets too. Poor Mustang. The story itself is set in a fictional West Coast city roughly the size of Vegas. So there's this kid named Eric. He lives there. He drives a Hyundai Tiburon. Landshark! And he has this friend named Kev. A little rough around the edges, a little bit older than him, but a lovable character nonetheless. Oh, and Kev and Eric work on cars together. So like any good protagonist should, Eric ends up in a bad place pretty quickly. He gets into an accident, which turns his Tiburon into something that looks like this. Because a whole bunch of people who drive these fuck him over and leave him driving something that looks like this. I chose the Eclipse because I wanted to write about a title or car that I'm very familiar with. On Instagram, I manage the handle @DemonEclipse, hence my channel name. Shocker! I have about 3,000 followers on there at the moment, pretty much just all car guys and friends of mine. Also, bear in mind that this isn't your average Sweet 16 gift to Daddy's Little Princess 3G Eclipse either. The motor that powers this Eclipse is a twin cam swapped, direct port methanol injected, 20 PSI breathing, cammed beast. Which is a pretty relative term, but you get the idea. It makes cool noises from time to time, and on occasion it can haul ass. But just like any project car should, it mostly just sits on jack stands. Do you have thumb problems, bro? But back to this little novel of mine. It's a pretty good read. There's a lot of action. We're not talking Michael Bay status here, but there's plenty of this. Some of that. Ooh, definitely a little bit of this. And that. And definitely some of this. Whole lot of big bang booms. And of course, some of that. Yeah, if you decide you want to pick this up and give it a read, you can view it on your computer, tablet, iPhone, Android, or just pretty much anything that has a Kindle app to it. Maybe if you feel adventurous enough, you can actually go out and buy yourself a real Kindle device. But usually that's just reserved for the utmost hardcore of readers. The novel itself is about 166,000 words long, which is roughly equivalent to the first 2 Harry Potter books put together, 2 copies of Percy Jackson, 4 copies of The Giver, the first Hunger Games book 1.5 times over. You get the idea. So rule of thumb, if you're into cars and you still read books, gasp! You really can't go wrong. So, regardless of whether you drive a 454 powered Chevelle and you're 20 years into retirement, or you burn rice harder than Johnny Tran and you work at the local Quickie Mart, I guarantee you'll get a kick out of it. For the time being, I'm pricing it at $2.99 per copy. Why is this? I want mad people to buy it. Yep, you heard me. Just $3, 3 measly little bones for what one person calls an ode to car enthusiasts everywhere. You really have no reason not to give it a try. Speaking of which, you see that little link floating around at the top of the screen? Kind of probably having an annotation by now, but it's on the film too, and also in the description. Yeah, go over there and click it. You know you want to. You know you're curious. Oh, and while you're at it, just go ahead and leave me a little review down there. Amazon's really anal about needing reviews to get your book traffic. Pretty much the old adage, any press is good press, applies to reviews here as well. And if I could get just, say, 100 reviews, traffic would explode on my page, and I'd be able to sell more copies and bring you guys a lot more cool content. Hell, If it became popular enough, I'd consider writing a sequel sometime in the near future. So that's my book. Now, if you're still interested in learning a little more about me, here's a brief little biography. But if not, just sit back and enjoy this compilation of some of the world's most graceful Fords, set to the beautiful sounds of Strauss's The Blue Danube. At the moment, I'm currently a full-time student at Rutgers. I'm a former student of Johns Hopkins University and a major in physics. I hold 3 degrees at the moment, all from 2-year college, in the fields of science, mathematics, and physics. Since I was 16, I've been a member of American Mensa. I sketch out automotive engineering ideas as a hobby, which multivariable calculus helps me out with somewhat. I would like to patent and license some of my innovations if I ever got the chance, use some of the revenue to start and manage a small business. Science is just a major hobby of mine. I spend more time than I should reading Scientific American and popular science in magazines like that. Also, despite what you might feel from reading my novel, I actually love all different types of cars. I grew up with a fascination for DSMs, fell in love with the curves of my 3G, eventually discovered the LS1, and ever since I've been crushing on Corvettes and Trans Ams. And despite the fact that I'm more a GM guy, Ford's new 5.0 really fascinates me. I think it's an awesome motor. Now, I've never worked on cars for a living, yet I pretty much built everything in my driveway with basic hand tools. I could tell you everything about volumetric efficiency, thermal expansion, metal fatigue, rod angle, conservation of energy through an engine power plant, but the amount of oil changes I've done are likely in the single digits. My daily driver's a Hyundai Accent. I love it. Mustang 2 is my favorite pony car ever. Bite me. The end.